Well, hey, what's going on?
Hey, just, rocking and rolling over here in the research and development lab at All American Pharmaceutical.
Yeah, I was gonna say, usually you're in the Freak Speak studios. Looks like you're in the Freak Speak lab.
Oh, you caught me back in the lab today working on some super duper new inventions.
I like it. I like it. Well, that's your favorite place to be, I know.
Oh, heck yeah. Big old lab here.
Yeah, definitely. I can see all kinds of nice, fun toys, bottles, ingredients in there.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, we wanted to go live today, and this whole past month or so, I think we talked a lot about quality and that kind of thing. And I don't think that's ever a subject you can talk about too much, just because of the industry we're in. It's kind of an ongoing issue with so many
Right.
people coming into the market. Last week we had a lot on ingredients and raw material suppliers and all that kind of stuff. China and big mess that's brewing right now with all that. And I thought, let's just go a little bit deeper and talk more about that, because I know we can only put so much in and people only want to hear us talk for so long, but hopefully this is interesting enough that people want to learn more. So what was it you had in mind about that? I know we're talking again about quality and the raw materials.
I think we were going to talk about, why made in the USA is important.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I know we've been hearing about this the last several years. Again, I don't care what your party is, what your race, it doesn't matter. There are facts and there are opinions. What we give is facts. So fact number one, when you're talking about dietary supplements, the United States has the highest, most stringent guidelines next to the TGA out of Australia and New Zealand. They're close. They're very, very strict. And when you look at things, I was thinking about this. When I was growing up, we had one telephone, lasted the whole life. We had one microwave. We had one toaster. I don't remember buying a toaster 20 years or whatever I was at home. Now, things that are made, and again, most of this stuff is made in China, it's disposable. You know what I'm talking about, people. You buy a toaster, 6 months, coffee machine, 6 months, you throw it out, you get a new one. They don't last anymore. Why? Because quality. I have been in factories in China. I've been in factories in Europe. I've been in New Zealand. I've seen Australia. I've seen the Middle East. I've seen Mexico, and I can tell you, even the worst places in the United States are 10 times better than some of these places I've seen overseas.
Right. Well, I guess going back to made in the USA, quality, whatever, so much of that is driven by cost. I mean, that's just a fact of life, right? I mean, you're going to buy typically the cheaper gas if there's a station a couple blocks from where you normally would, and if it was $1 a gallon cheaper, everyone's going to go there. So that our industry, because we are a profit-driven industry, I mean, any way you slice it, right? People want to make money. You have a couple of options. You got to get your costs down of that product so you can still sell at the same price. Or I mean, there's much different ways you can go with that. But we're seeing, because of that, some are cheating. I mean, flat out. They're getting allured by this ridiculously great price from some other country or wherever they're getting the raw ingredients, and they're just getting. They don't realize it, even some of them, that they're getting screwed.
Well, I see it all the time. Every day I'll get an email. Right now it's China, China, China. It used to be India, Middle East, but right now it's all been China. Hey, we can make your supplements for you. Look at how cheap they are.
I got 2 today.
And I remember going back to one and saying, how is your quality control on those? And they said, oh, not very good, but it's a good price. And I was just laughing, because again, most of the brands today, and again, we're talking supplements, are sold on the internet, Amazon, their own websites. And I'll say most of them are probably sold on Amazon. They're just marketing people, or there's just some guy that wants to sell something, has no idea about the industry, going to buy the cheapest thing he can, like any other commodity. People find the cheapest whatever, and then they go and sell it on Amazon. Well, you can buy cheap stuff from China, and people are misdirected. They buy it because it's cheap. But when it comes to supplements, the cheaper it is. I mean, that's just the facts. And, people say, well, American made is too expensive. Well, that ain't my fault. I'm not the one that sets all the wages. I mean, back when I first started, we were paying $4.25 an hour. Now people go, oh, how can somebody live? Well, back in the, early 90s and late 80s, that was a lot of money. People could live off of that. So again, costs go up. America is more expensive just because of all of our taxes, our insurances, our wages and things that we have to do, vacation and insurance, all that goes into the price. But at the same token, you get what you pay for. I have always said, and I don't care what commodity it is, I would rather have people raise the price than cheat on it or cut the quality to maintain the same price.
Yeah, it's just that it's such a competitive industry that I guess they feel like they can't, and that if everybody else is selling their similar product for say $20,
right,
I can sell mine for $30. And that's what they're forced to do, right?
I think that's a choice. Again, if you're in it for the money, then, it's all about the bottom line. And unfortunately, a lot of business people are in it for the money. If you're in it for, the quality, if you're in it for the long run, good gosh, we've been doing this since 1985. Why? Because we're honest. It's always been made here. We've never made anything overseas, and we never will. Gosh, we're in the heart of, the West here, Montana. And
Right.
What a beautiful place to manufacture. Great employees that are dedicated to quality. And it shows in the end product. When you look at the innovation that we've put out over the last 20 years compared to anybody else, any other manufacturer or brand, I don't think there is any. You're not seeing patents. The patents people are putting on their label are all Chinese patents, India patents. That's where they're all coming out of right now. And who knows if they're even real,
Yeah, I've had over the years multiple times, over and over and over, had people say, I don't know, there's just something about your products. And I said, well, it comes down to the word quality. Again, it gets thrown around like love on the fourth grade playground, a bunch of little kids, oh my God. But it's really nothing more than that. It's the science and the testing, everything that makes that final product superior. And again, we're biased, but we know what we're doing. I don't know what everyone else is doing. I just know that you get their stuff and test it and scratch your head going, oh my God, another one.
Well, just yesterday or the day before, I got two Facebook or Instagram messages on the Carbolin energy bars. One person said, are you sure there's no caffeine in this? Because I ate a bar and I was flying. I had the best workout ever. It was like drinking caffeine. No, there's no caffeine. That's the Carbolin. And then yesterday, a gentleman, his wife is having some medical issues, probably some diabetes and such. And she had a Carbolin energy bar and they tested her sugar and it was normal. And he was like, how can that be? How can there be so many carbs and it didn't, raise her sugar? And, I went on to explain the whole science behind Carbolin. He's like, man, I knew you guys had it going on, but that's literally amazing. Well, again, we have published research, working with pre-diabetics and diabetics. And again, Carbolin is really a cool product. Put it in a bar, put it in whatever. And, it's different than anything else out there. But again, that's what we do. That's what makes the difference between quality and price.
Yeah. Well, and going back to something you said just a few minutes ago about made in the USA. Again, that's another term that's kind of been thrown around and it's cool and all. But what do you think what does that really mean and why does that matter so much?
Again, nothing against any foreign country out there. We sell in almost every country and, I have great friends all over the world. But again, we talk facts. They buy American made products because they know quality. Made in America, again, I think it means pride. At least this is what it means for us. It means pride. It means quality. It means innovation. It means honesty, integrity. All the things that typically Americans are known for. When you talk to people from outside of the USA, you have two things that they come up with. Number one is kind of what I said. The other thing is, a lot of Americans are snooty. Well, any culture, you got snooty people, but that's really what it's about. There was an old saying that went on a couple of years ago, buy America and Americans work. This is how we keep our country going is by, again, people supporting things that are made in your city or your town, let alone, made in your state or in our country. I mean,
Yeah. Well, there's something I guess again people don't understand is where the money flows is what grows. It's kind of like
yeah,
water in your yard or a farm. If you're sending dollars through your local economy, that's what feeds it and makes it grow. It
yeah,
makes it better for yourself and for everyone. You keep expanding that out bigger and bigger and bigger to statewide, then countrywide. If we want our country to thrive and flourish and
yep,
keep its ranking, I guess, in the world or however you want to say it, that's how you have to have that money flow. And if it's all being short term pushed out, then people wonder, how come we can't afford these programs and
yep,
we got to raise this and that, and they're getting stuck and they don't see it's because it's a long-term play as opposed to short-term. That money
yep,
is not flowing in our country versus somewhere else. And then again, at the end
absolutely,
of the day, you're left holding the bag wondering what happened. We're telling you.
yeah. Well, it is, and our state calls us new money. And when I first heard that, I didn't quite understand. And the governor went on to explain, new money means you guys aren't making it here, selling it locally, and we're just basically circulating dollars. You're manufacturing here, shipping all over the world. So you're bringing all this new money into the state,
Right.
into the American, the USA economy. And again, that's crucial and key. But, kind of getting back to the whole quality thing, most all of the items that come from out of the country without quality control, what does that mean? That means, number one, it's not going to meet label claim. Number two, it's probably not going to be safe. Number three, most of it is contaminated with some drug residue. I was in a factory in China a few years ago, and it looked like being in a beat up, car mechanic place. I mean, there was no walls open to the outside, these reactors, just birds flying in, poop, mice running everywhere, oil, grease. And one reactor, they were making some drug, and another reactor, they were making chondroitin sulfate. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, I went there to visit some factories. Again, this was a few years ago, but
Sure.
to see what was going on, and I couldn't believe it. And are there places like that in the country? Yeah, I mean, small places that fly under the radar that don't care. But if you are FDA regulated and you are inspected, you can't do that. I mean, there are very, very stringent guidelines. So if you're somebody who is taking some medication, and I don't care whether it's aspirin, ibuprofen, or some prescription drug, you probably have read the insert where there's all these warnings, don't eat grapefruits, don't do this, don't do that. Well, you got to be careful with taking a supplement that you don't know where it's manufactured, or who cannot guarantee you that there is no drug contamination, that there won't be some drug residue in there, that you're going to have some contradiction or some reaction, that those two drugs don't get along. I mean, it could kill you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, we only know what it is that we do and can speak to that. I just don't know what these other guys are doing. I just have a hard time believing that they can match what we're doing.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, you can't see all the stuff behind you there, but that's just one of 3 labs in that building. And the other thing is, if you want to just kind of see for yourself, if people don't know, I think we mentioned this before, Amazon right now is doing a pretty big sweep through a lot of their health and fitness brands, making them now start submitting third-party testing and to guarantee they're meeting label claims. I have a funny feeling you're going to go on there one day and kind of sweep through that store and go, hey, whatever happened to this brand or that brand? Is because they got busted.
They did. And, the brands are struggling. They're trying to find labs that will cheat for them. And again, we already have all the certifications. So, Amazon sees what we're doing, and they will be accepting our certificate of analysis because we are Informed Sport. We are UA. We are NPA. So we have all these accredited places who are monitoring us besides FDA and USDA. So again, we're doing a better job than most of the independent laboratories, who are nothing more than, cattle places where they're running through so many analysis that they didn't take the time to develop something specifically for them. So they have a variance of plus or minus 10%. Not here, man. We dial it in. So whether we're testing our product or, our lab does a lot of third-party testing for other manufacturers because we turn things around so fast because it just gets into line with what we do on our production end. Amazon is happy from that standpoint. But yeah, you're right. You're going to see a lot of people getting filtered out. A lot of them are going to try to cheat because they don't want to lose those, thousands of dollars they're making. But, eventually they will get filtered out. Now, that still doesn't mean that everything on Amazon or online is going to be legit, because I already know some labs that are literally charging you $200 to $500 to fudge a C of A to meet Amazon. I mean,
Wow.
dishonest,
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe the big question, the $1 million question is, so who do you trust? How do you know you can trust them?
I mean, again, I never just say that, anything produced at All American Pharmaceutical or EFX Sports or All American Body or any of our brands are the only brands that are good. I have no problem with saying brands like Now Foods, Optimum Nutrition, and I can go on and list a whole bunch. Now, I don't manufacture. I don't have anything to do with them. I'm not a paid endorsement. I just know what they do. I've seen their products. I've seen their facilities. And, they're in the top 1% like we are. And there's some other brands and some other manufacturers who are, but unfortunately, the majority of them are not. They're producing under the radar. But as I stated, even some of our worst factories here are better than what you see overseas. I mean, before somebody can buy Crealclin as a manufacturer, we need to inspect their facility. So either somebody goes there or we have them provide video. And I'll tell you what, these places are nasty. I mean, I wouldn't buy dog food made there, I mean, they're terrible. But see, that's all that's required by their governing bodies, which most of them, there's no real requirements. As long as they don't make a claim, they really don't have any issues on how they make it. They don't care if it meets label claim. They just want to make sure that you aren't going above the threshold for vitamin A or vitamin C. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything else.
Right. Well, again, just to reassure everybody and let them know, again, everything we have is made in the USA, number one. And number two, if I can beat people over the head with one message, it's this: we make all of our stuff. We make it. We're not contracting out to anybody. It's all made under the roof you're seeing in this above his head there, inside of that 150,000 square foot facility. We control 100% of it from the time whatever ingredient rolls through that back door to the time it's in a bottle and shipping back out to somebody's house or store.
Yep. And next week you're going to be out here, and again we'll try to do some more filming and videos.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately, with as big as this facility is and so much electronics and power, even with relays and everything, it's hard to get a good live signal through Zoom. But I think we might be able to go like Facebook Live or Instagram Live, and we'll actually go into some places so they can see you and I, that we're actually in the place. It isn't like a cut and paste or whatever you call it, where people are talking and then they cut to something that's not even theirs. You can see that it's kind of
stock footage
mustered in. It was the old thing back in the Joe Weider days, they used to call it airbrushing, because he used to airbrush everybody, including himself, look good.
Sure.
Bless him, Joe Weider, but it was funny.
Yeah, get rid of the wrinkles, make your biceps a little taller and shapelier.
Have abs,
Yeah, everyone had abs.
Yep.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and shut this one down for now. Let everybody get back to work or working out or whatever it is they're doing when they're seeing us talk about this. But again, buy American, buy all American. That's us.
Yep.
And if you have any questions, we'd love feedback. If there's anything else you want to know more about, we love being challenged on this stuff. Don't just take our word for it. I'm huge on that statement. Don't ever take our word for it. That's why I like to give evidence and talk about when we talked about ingredients not being there and they looked on other sites and wow, they were right. Creatine wasn't there, or Amazon doing this sweep. Just kind of pay attention to their store and watch which brands suddenly disappear overnight.
Yep.
Things like that. So anyway, I'll let you get back to your toys there and your inventing and whatnot. And I guess we'll see you up later.
Take care, everybody.